enlightening, fun.
I think the next stage encourages you, like all, great things that educate you. It encourages you to question things.
Playful and hard work.
The next stage is like theatre boot camp, because you just go and go and go. You're like a theatre machine. It had a profound impact on what I was thinking and how I processed that thought. Yeah.
I suppose from my point of view, it was about the festival taking seriously its relationship to kind of the Irish theatre community, and particularly to a younger generation of artists, and kind of acknowledging, I suppose, the opportunity that the festival presents to allow artists to engage in a much more serious dialogue with senior international artists and Irish artists whose work was being showcased in the festival programme, and to provide kind of a new generation of Irish theatre makers with an opportunity to use the festival to investigate their own work and their own process, and to ask kind of some big questions about the kind of work that they were already making, but also their ambitions for their own work in the future. I suppose that was the starting point. It was about utilising the kind of the resources of the festival.
Looking back over the last 5 years, we've just had such an extraordinary range of people that have come in, which has been fantastic. So from circus artists like Yaron Lifsich from Circa in Australia and the wonderful Gypsy Schneider, through to international choreographers like Lloyd Newson from DV8. It really does depend on what's in the festival every year, obviously, but we've worked very hard to get really wonderful directors in to speak to the group. So I can think in terms of the numbers of countries that have been represented. We've had Ivo van Hove from the Toneel Group in Amsterdam. We've had Anne Bogart from City Company in the US. We've had Tim Crouch in from the UK and Declan Donlan from Cheek by Jowl. So we've had an awful lot of international directors in, but we've also had a who's who of Irish theatre over the years as well. So in terms of Irish directors that have come in and workshopped on the next stage, it includes people like Gary Hines, Lynn Parker, Gavin Quinn, Michael Murphy, Michael Keegan-Dolan, just a who's who of all the great directors. So it's a wonderful exposure for people doing the programme.
It is significant that 7 of the productions in this year's Theatre Festival 5 years later are now directed by people who have participated in the Next Stage programme, and that is hugely indicative, I think, of the explosion of talent that has and the emergence of a kind of a new generation of very talented theatre makers that has happened in Dublin.
You have to think fast. You have to take the work in fast and process it fast. And if something delights you or moves you or doesn't affect you, you have to figure out why. You have to be able to do some, I suppose, critical analysis. And I saw a lot of work that year that I loved, and I saw a lot of work that year that I didn't love. And after leaving the Next Stage, I kind of knew the piece that I felt I needed to make. And that turned out to be I Heart Alice, Heart I.
I think Next Stage is a collective experience because there's a group of people and everyone goes through it together, but each participant on it is on an individual track. So I would feel what's important to say about something like the Next Stage is that there isn't a desirable outcome. There isn't one set thing that you should take from it. Sometimes there is people mistakenly, I think, come into it thinking, oh, we're supposed to find collaborators, we're supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do anything. You open yourself up to the experience you have, the work you see, the workshop experiences you will take part in, the discussions you will engage with. And I would think that each participant will get what they need.
You get to hang around with directors, writers, designers. You see their approach to the work. I found myself sitting beside designers coming out of a show and going, that was just incredible. And they were going, it was terrible. Did you not see the design? It was just, we're watching different things. And it opened up my eyes to the approach that other people take towards a piece of work and towards approaching a piece of work. And what was really good I found was that the sessions during the day that surprised you, the ones that perhaps you thought, well, I'll definitely go along and I'll be engaged in this, but this isn't the one I'm waiting for, and it's the one that blows you away. For example, John Comiskey coming in and speaking to us about the design of Phaedra. I thought, yeah, I'm interested to hear about the design process and everything. John was fascinating. It was a kind of a almost a life lesson and an approach to any type of work lesson, you know, about not going for the easy choices, about, you know, coming to it from a kind of a sideways angle, and it was fantastic.
I was at a point in my career where I was in a place where I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was writing and directing, but also producing, and kind of at a bit of a crisis point about what I wanted to do next. And the idea of immersing myself in other people's work and also engaging with Irish theatre practitioners was really important for me, and something that I really wanted to explore further. And I suppose the idea as well that just even the title, The Next Stage, I felt like I needed to move to the next stage myself. So as soon as I saw that the programme was happening, I was really keen to participate in it. And it definitely lived up to all my expectations and surpassed them in ways that I couldn't have imagined.
And one of the most wonderful things about it was the other people who did it, as much as it was going to see the shows and meeting, I guess, the international artists who came to talk to us. The other people, many of whom I knew or knew around, but loads of us went on to work together after it, a lot. And Project Brand New kind of started out of the next stage that I was on.
I think like Rosh is saying, I really didn't see a lot of theatre, a huge amount of theatre beforehand. And certainly feeling in the first few days of everyone had a different language to the one that I knew. And I'd been making stuff that felt right, but I didn't have any kind of critical framework in which to place it, and any great understanding of what was happening around me beyond this kind of feeling that I was making the work that I should be making, but I had no discourse and no language to understand it. So I think that's what the next stage really offered me. I don't know that I understood that beforehand.
But there's something about watching a lot of work which allows you to learn how you look at your own work, which was one of the things that was really crucial actually for me in watching work by companies like Elevator Repair Service, where you could see the rigour and the discipline that had gone into that work, and actually just about thinking about how you look at your own work, how you imagine what it is to place a piece of work into the world, and you know, through discussion, lots of things like that come up, and you start to learn why people find some work interesting and uninteresting, and I suppose that's also been really useful for me as a programmer, in that I started programming in Kilkenny around the same time as I did the next stage. So it was sort of an opportunity to start looking at work and talking about work in that way as well.
I think it should keep going, definitely. I think I was thinking about it this morning that it's a shame that more people don't get to experience it, because it is so valuable and so important.
I can't imagine Dublin theatre scene without the next stage.
As long as theatre artists in Ireland continue to question their own practice and continue to challenge themselves and put pressure on themselves to make better work and make more interesting work and work that resonates more deeply with an audience, there will always be a need for the next stage.